Well, I found Myra Linville, very nice lady. And I remember talking to her on the phone. I said, hello, my name is Norman Romillion. I'm at a place called Laura Plantation on the river outside of New Orleans. I'm trying to find a photograph of the front of the house. And your name was given to me by Stephen Gore in St. Louis. And Myra said something not very nice about him. I don't want to, since I'm being recorded, I don't want to say it, but she was wonderful. She said, you know, my family was very close friends with Laura's family for generations, both in New Orleans and in St. Louis. My grandmother knew Laura, my mother knew them very well, and you know, my grandmother, who lived in New Orleans and in St. Louis, had an address book, a big address book, and it has all the names of the people that she and Laura probably knew. I will Xerox this for you and send it to you, and you can ask them if they have a photograph. So I got it. Got the address book from Myra's grandmother. And when I asked what...
And how long is this taking? I mean,
months. It takes months. Go back and forth, get information, you know. But it's
and all by postal mail. You're waiting for letters, writing letters.
That works. Well, telephone
and
helps.
telephone.
It wasn't back that far. And so I finally get the thing from Myra, and it's lots of sheets. And so I start calling people, starting with A, you know, all the people, Anderson and blah, 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 blah. Most all the addresses were people who were dead, and they had been living in either New Orleans or St. Louis.
So you're sending letters off and they're coming back?
No, I'm not. I'm calling people.
Oh, you're calling. Okay, so at this point you're telephoning.
Yeah, I'm just telephoning everybody. I don't have enough money to send that kind of letters, because this is I knew most of the people would have died. This is from the 60s, this 50s and 60s. This is an old
So we're in
address.
1993, you're doing all this?
Yeah, so this is 40 or 50 years after this book was written.
Wow, okay.
Address book was written. So I went and I called people when they answered the phone. I said, hello, same thing. My name is Norman Romillion. I'm in Louisiana at a place called Laura. I'm looking for a photograph of the place called Laura. Can you help me? And nobody had anything. I went all the way down till I got to S. N. S was Stephen Gore. And I got to a guy from St. Louis called Clyde Norris. And I call it, hello, Mr. Norris. My name's Norman. I'm looking for photographs of an old place called Laura. Can you help me? And there was no answer. I said, Mr. Norris? He said, I heard him say, I have been waiting 14 years for a telephone call from Louisiana. Are you the guy? And I said, yes, I am. Can you help me? He said, yes. And then what I found out after talking to him some more was that he had been waiting for a telephone call. He was told that he would hear it from Laura's daughters, who gave him all this wonderful information and artifacts from the plantation. And they told him, if you don't get a call from Louisiana, you need to donate this to the Missouri Historical Society so it's not lost. And we went up there, and my wife and I immediately went up to St. Louis because he invited us to go and see what he had, and it was amazing. He lived in a very small house. This is 1993 now, and this was the time that St. Louis, the river was flooding.
Oh wow!
In St. Louis, and so he lived on the River de Pere, which was flooding at the time. But we were able to get into his neighborhood. He lived in a very small, little house, and walked in, and he sat us in his front room, and we were talking. And so I said, okay. We told him who we were and what we're trying to do, and he was kind of reluctant, you know, and I understood it because we were strangers. And then he said, come into my dining room, and so we went into the dining room, and he had this table, and he had all sorts of things packed against the walls, framed pictures and books and papers, and I got to the table, and right there on the end of the table was this black leather book with gold embossed letters. It said, Memories of My Old Plantation Home by Laura Gore. And as he was talking and showing my wife some ceramics or whatever, plates or silverware, I opened it up, and it was handwritten on yellow paper, and it said, I could read her handwriting. It said, at the earnest insistence of my 3 children, I write the story of my life and the life of my family on the plantation.